the state came against me, so it's their case, but now I have filed my own claim, but I actually have an attorney that I hired during this process prior to learning about filing my own claim. So I'm trying to see what would be best to move forward.
So Texas is filed a criminal complaint against you? What are you saying? You're from Texas?
Yes. Texas is filing a criminal complaint against me.
So what kind of complaint did they file against you?
It's called secure deception of documents.
Okay, so it's a criminal complaint?
Yes.
Okay, and what was it actually? What was the actual charge?
Secure deception of execution of documents or something of that nature.
Yeah, like I said, the big thing is, like I say to people all the time, is when they make a charge against you that's incredibly long. The judge taught me this years ago when I was charged with adding an artificial heat source to speed the fermentation of an alcoholic beverage without a federal permit. That was the actual charge I was charged with. And the judge told me, he says, it's pretty funny. He says, actually, these people who create these codes and create these charges, when it's a serious charge like murder, rape, robbery, that's what they charge you with, murder, rape, robbery. When it's basically like a victimless crime like that, they will say it's adding an artificial heat source to speed the fermentation of an alcoholic beverage without procuring a federal permit. He said to me, I said, okay, what does that mean? He says, okay, is there a word? It's a statute. It's rigid. He says, is there a word in there that you can manipulate, that you could say it's not expressed but maybe it's implied? He's like, what? He says, okay, so, the trial's over today. It's already done. Would you like to be found not guilty, and would you like me to have another trial for you in a week from now? He says, what do you mean? He says, why don't you come into court next time and said that you added a natural heat source. You used a natural heat source to speed the fermentation of an alcohol beverage, not an artificial, because he says if you could get rid of one word, make it ambiguous, make it where it could be looked at more than one way. Instead of what kind of heat source did you use, it says you can't use an artificial. Why don't you destroy the word artificial and the whole statute will crumble? Why don't you do that? He says, and the other side won't have a leg to stand on. So why don't you say it was a natural heat source? And they can't argue that. You could just say you painted the kettle black, you put it out in the sunshine, and it did it all on its own. It naturally fermented. You used no artificial heat source to speed the fermentation. He says, and he told me, kid, you'll win. I'll take the charges off of you, and you'll be free to go. I said, no, I like being charged with something like that, and I actually, like having that on my permanent record of making moonshine. So that's what I'm saying. When you were telling me this ridiculously long charge, actually, if you could just show one of the words, I did that with Bali too, one of the charges he was charged with, all his people were charged with, there's three of them, was putting forged commercial paper into the public from a trust. So, I mean, the judge told, I was told these charges the day of the trial. I mean, Bali didn't give me no heads up. Nobody told me that this was one of the 5 charges. One of them was social terrorism. Nobody told me about these charges. They just told me I was coming over to help them with a harassment case. They didn't tell me all these other cases, that all these other charges they were facing. So I just said to myself, okay, when they get to putting forged commercial paper into the public from a trust, I'm going to attack a word in there. Which word am I going to attack? I'm going to attack the word trust. And I'm going to explain to the judge, wait a second, a public trust has to be recorded through the county recorder's office, correct? Yes. How about a private trust? If I had a trust between you and me, Your Honor, would we, and I told you, do not disclose, what this paperwork pertains to or what the meaning of this paperwork pertains to, do not disclose to the public what this document means. You would be held, sworn to secrecy not to disclose what's in a private trust, kind of like a birth certificate. If you have a birth certificate, we create birth certificates, we're going to create a trust. Now, do we have to disclose to the public what this birth certificate means? No. Do we have to explain to the public what the impact of a birth certificate has on a person? No. Why? Because we created a private trust amongst ourselves, and we're going to create these birth certificates, or we're going to create whatever, and we're going to put them out, issue them out into the public. Now, unless the public, some member of the public comes forth with actual claim of harm, injury, or loss, too bad. We're going to keep issuing these birth certificates. We're going to keep issuing these documents. Now, they might think they're forged. The public might think that they're not legitimate, but you and I know, Judge, exactly what we're using them for, and it's none of their damn business because it's held in private, not in public. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, I just did that off the seat of my pants in front of the judge, and, it was a lot of fun because this other judge taught me back in 1993, I believe, was the moonshine charge. Just all you have to do is attack a word, find a word, and go after it. And I'm just saying that's one way to go about it. And the other way that somebody like you could go about it is that you can move a claim into the court and put it on top of their criminal complaint. It's like, I will be more than glad to compensate any man or any woman who has a claim of injury or harm or a loss by doing whatever this man known as the Attorney General for the state of Texas is claiming that I've done. Just bring forth, at this time, I've yet to see the bill of particulars. I still yet to see a bill for the damages. There is no actual tangible damages. This is all just speculation. Did you actually hurt somebody by doing this? Did anybody actually accrue a loss?
No.
Well, there you go. That's the kind of letter that you have to write to them. Give them notice. They'd be more than glad. You're just waiting for a bill to be tendered to you with the billing, the itemized statement of the bill, the billing particulars of the man or the woman or those of mankind that you've caused harm, injury, or loss to, and you'd be more than glad to compensate them for any damages that they could actually show. You know, I don't want to talk about somebody's feelings or that somebody is, are you telling me that there's some sort of statute in which I might be in violation of, because I did not create that statute. I'm not part of a legal society. I'm not a code decipherer, especially if they're coming after Texas Criminal Code, Section 1234. It's a codification of the public law. So I'm not even in non-compliance with the public law. I'm in non-compliance with a code which might reflect part of the public law, but is not public law. It's a codification of what somebody believes is the public law.
If I'm adding the claim, you mentioned adding a claim, what's the best way to connect it with the complaint?
You just basically give the notice to the court clerk, and you just make the court clerk aware that there is going to be a criminal complaint appearing in this court on this day at this time. And to save the county or save the state valuable resources, that you wish to have this claim presented to the court at the same time that this case number is being presented to the court, that you would wish that both, and you wish and you require that the court clerk has both cases before the court at that time. That's all.
Okay.
You just say for judicial expediency. That's all. That's all you're trying to do is to save the valuable, limited. We have very limited, finite court resources. So for the expediency of justice, let's get it on next Tuesday while we're all here together.